Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the concession stand here on the KB Radio Network. I am your host, Kevin Reed, and this is the review of the new action thriller from the world of John Wick, Ballerina. And this film stars Ana de Armas, Anjelica Huston, Gabriel Byrne, Norman Reedus, Ian McShane, Lance Reddick in his final film role before his passing, and yes, Keanu Reeves reprising his role as John Wick. This film takes place between John Wick Chapter 3 and Chapter 4, and it follows Eve, a ballerina assassin who begins to train in the assassin traditions of the Rasa Rama and sets out to exact revenge for her father's death. This film has been on my radar for quite a long time. I've been hearing about this Ballerina film, I want to say right after John Wick Chapter 3, when they kind of introduce this little subplot in Chapter 3, when John Wick had to go to where these ballerinas were, and they're more than ballerinas. Of course, everything in the John Wick universe is more than what it seems, but they're actual assassins. And they announced not too long after the release of Chapter 3 that they were going to have a spinoff of Ballerina. I think that was in 2019. And we've been waiting. And then they announced Ana de Armas. It was going to be the lead. I'm like, okay. And that's interesting. And mind you, this was before No Time to Die came out. And so I was kind of skeptical, but I said, hey, I'm willing to give it a shot. And then No Time to Die came out, and we got a little snippet of her action chops in just that small scene that she was in that James Bond film. And I was like, man, I can't wait to see a full length feature of her doing this stuff. And in a John Wick style nonetheless. So I was super hyped. Then you have Len Wiseman directing this film, and Len Wiseman is a interesting director. He's on the top of nobody's top 10 list as far as directors, I believe. But he's made some pretty decent movies. If you're into that type of stuff, the underworld movies, I actually enjoy those. Nothing to say that they redefined vampire werewolf movies, but I enjoyed it for what it was. And then he did that Die Hard film, which at the time was not the best Die Hard. I would say it was probably the worst for me until what was the last Die Hard they made? It was 20 times worse. It made you appreciate the fourth Die Hard that he directed. Live Free or Die Hard, that's the one he directed. But he did direct that awful, and I mean awful, Total Recall remake with Colin Farrell. Man, that movie was bad. That was so disappointing, man, because I'm a big Total Recall fan. And, I wasn't expecting the second coming of Arnold Schwarzenegger by no stretch, but I thought it would be fun. It wasn't. It wasn't even fun. And for a sci-fi action film that wasn't fun, nah. So I was skeptical on that a little bit, but maybe this kind of a grounded tone of a film, maybe he can shine a little bit more. And if you follow the production of this film, you come to realize that he really didn't have much to do with this movie. The original director, or should I say the director of all of the John Wick films, Chad Stahelski, I believe that's how you say his name, he directed a large portion of the reshoots. Actually, he directed all of the reshoots, about 2 to 3 months worth of reshoots, which a lot of people, depending on who you listen to, was a vast majority of this movie that he reshot and basically turned it into his film. But Len Wiseman did get the credit as director of this film. I had fun with this movie. I thought it was good. I'm not over the moon with it. Is it up there with all of the other John Wick films? I would say no. John Wick is in a world of his own. This film is set in that universe, of course, but it doesn't have that same feel. For lack of a better term, it doesn't have that same magic as a John Wick film, but it does have the exciting action sequences, of course, the stunt work and all the use of different weapons throughout this movie was super exciting. I actually am impressed with some of the stunt work and use of different type of weaponry that this film uses. You go through the other John Wick films, every John Wick film is different. There's four of them, but all four are different. If I tell you, oh, the scene when John Wick takes the knives out of this they in this museum or whatever it is, and he's stabbing the guy on the ground and doing that stuff with all of those knives, that's part three. If I tell you about, oh, John Wick using a horse, well, that was John Wick 2. I mean 3 as well. But you know what I'm saying. You can pinpoint those action sequences because they have a style of their own. Even though it's the same, based around the same character, same pretty much storyline. You're not going to mistake a John Wick film for its substance. It's not there for that. It's there for exactly what it is. Shoot 'em up, bang bang. And so this film, it does try to give us some story, some substance, some weight to it. And just to start off with Ana de Armas, I think she did an excellent job with the role that she was given. I actually did manage to connect with her character. Her character is someone seeking vengeance and whatnot. I got that. I got her motivations. You enjoyed her in her action role. Everything worked. She did an awesome job. I wish she would have got a little bit more to chew on. I mean, this is an Academy Award nominated actress here. I think she can handle substance. So I wish she would have got a little bit more to work with. But what she was given to work with, I think she did a phenomenal job. All the returning players, I mean, it fits them like a glove. They just stepped right up and did exactly what they always do. Whether it was Ian McShane, Lance Reddick, R.I.P., and of course John Wick himself, Keanu Reeves. They use Keanu Reeves at just the right amount. He's not in his movie a lot. If you're going to see it and you're like, oh man, this is John Wick, we're gonna get to see Keanu Reeves. He's not in this movie a lot. This is Ana de Armas' film, and I commend the filmmakers, the screenwriters, for making sure that she got the shine. This is her film, but they did have to throw in John Wick, of course, I guess, to kind of sell it. And I get it, but he was in it just enough. It wasn't in there too much, and he wasn't in there, where you wish, like, man, it would have been nice if he was in this part of it. No, he was perfectly used. That character was perfectly used, and we got to see some John Wick action. It wasn't like he was just there for an ambiguous cameo or whatever. Though we got to see John Wick do John Wick things for the portion that he was in it. So that was greatly appreciated. Gabriel Byrne, the villain of this film, it's good to see him in a movie. I grew up with, well, I say grew up, but, I was a youngster when I first got exposed to Gabriel Byrne, and I love him. I love his acting. I like him being a part of a project. Wherever he is, I know that he is giving it. I rarely see him mail in a performance. Now, this was a mail-inable type of role for him, but he didn't. He actually gave a little bit to the little time that he had. He wasn't in it a lot, but the little time that he was in, I enjoyed it. I did. I really had fun with that. What I didn't have fun with was this movie is 2 hours long. I think it's 2 hours on the nose, maybe an hour and 58 minutes or something like that. This was a little too long. It drug at parts, I think they could have shaved off a good, nice, sexy, sweet 15 minutes from it, and it would have kind of hit a little better. There were scenes in this movie that just didn't need to be there. You ever watch a movie and they throw in a scene, and at the moment it don't really hit you, but once you get close to the end or the movie ends, and for some unknown reason you think back to that scene and you're like, why was that in there? A lot of movies do it. It's like pointless. They could have left that on the cutting room floor, and you really go to think, and you go down this rabbit hole, and you like, well, they kept that in the movie. I bet you they took out a part that probably would have helped this story a little bit more, but they chose to keep this part in. It's a couple of scenes like that, and I don't know why. I don't know why they're in the movie. As far as I know, I was praising Ana de Armas, and this isn't on her. I think this is on the filmmakers here. Her character, Eve, struggled way too much for me. She struggled way too much through some of those not some, all of them, all of those action sequences. I mean, I'm all for building up for something grand. If you struggle in the beginning because you're a newcomer and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I get all that. And then at the end, as we get close to the end, if something clicks and you finally, you mastered your art. At no point did she master the art of the assassin, man. I mean, she got caught, captured quite a few times in this movie. Could have been killed quite a few times in this movie. It was like, why are y'all not killing her? Just kill her. She is no threat at all. At all. At least at the points where they captured her. And I'm like, just get rid of her. Because she is doing nothing. Now there were moments she handled her own. Like I said, she rocked it at points. In certain sections of this movie, she looked like a female Rick. She was, a beast. But then she'll turn right around and struggle. Struggle. And when I say struggle, like, for example, no spoilers, but like she'll be taking on this one assailant, and she's using a knife, and she has to stab the dude like 30 times before he drops. And all I can think about with John Wick, when he goes at you, it's maybe one or two stabs, and that's it. He knows where to hit you, But she was just struggling to vanquish her foes in this movie, and it kind of made it a little unbelievable that she would reach the end of her goal, But it is what it is. I know it's all movies and whatnot. There's a scene to the end, like I said, no spoilers, that I didn't like. That kind of helped the outcome of this movie. That just I didn't like, and it involves John Wick, and it involves Ana de Armas' character, and basically John Wick helps her, and I'm like, come on now. I mean, this is her mission, This is her mission. Now, John Wick didn't help with the big outcome. I guess I'm talking spoilery, but I'm not really. But you get where I'm going. It's just like he helped her along, and I didn't want him to help her. I wanted her to go and do this, accomplish this goal on her own. And that one little thing just kind of like, oh man, I wanted her to do it. It was that thing. But it is what it is. But those are pretty much all my gripes that I can think of. It started off hot. It really nice sequence in the beginning. The actor who plays Ana de Armas, or at least Eve's father in the beginning, that's the same actor, if I'm not mistaken. He's the same actor who played Diego on the Umbrella Academy. And so when I saw him, I was like, oh man, this is gonna be good, because he was a beast on on that show, and he was a beast in this movie for that scene. And it was good to see him. Yeah, it started off hot, and you got some good little scenes sprinkled out throughout the middle of the film, and then it kind of heated up at the end, no pun intended, if you saw the movie. But overall, I had fun with it, If you're looking for something earth-shattering, this ain't it. If you're looking for something to question the existence of the universe and how it was formed. No, there's no deep thought in this film. This was a cut and dry, fun action movie, and it kind of passes the test. From the world of John Wick, Ballerina gets a letter grade of a C plus. Yeah, it was decent. It's not as good as the John Wick's films, but that don't mean that it's not bad either. It's just a good action movie. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. But I would love to know, what are your thoughts of Ballerina? Did you enjoy it? Would you like to see a sequel to this film, or do you just want to see John Wick do his thing? I mean, not John Wick. Well, Keanu Reeves as John Wick do his thing. I would love to know your thoughts. Email the show, kbradiopodcast@gmail.com. You can also search for the show on all social media platforms. Just search for the KB Radio Network. Don't forget about YouTube. Subscribe, like this video if you don't mind. Don't forget about the 5 stars, the reviews, and sharing this show if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you are currently listening to the concession stand here on the KB Radio Network. Everybody, thank you for joining me for this review of Ballerina. Want you all to know that I love you, continue to love everyone, and until we speak again, you all be blessed.